Okay, but as I was saying, basically, I'm trying to angle this so you can see me better. But like I was saying, they got all you see all these other comic book companies doing this, and you know that Archie Comics has done it. Not just with Sonic and Archie and all that, and with the upcoming crossover, but they've also done it with the Turtles too. But here's the thing. Again, like I said in the first video, there's a lot of people that I consider like the IWC of the Sonic franchise. It's like, oh great, this is great. Having one long story arc, expanding this long, it's great. And it probably is, I'm not denying that. But then again, you have that other side that's like, hey, we understand, like myself, that's like, hey, we understand you like this, but there are some of us that are like, okay, come on, it's gone on long enough. When are you going to finish it? How are you going to finish it? You need to get it done with. And the way I look at it, basically, and I'm sure anybody may or may not agree with me on this, is that, what they did with Iron Dominion, like I said, they could have easily interrupted the Iron Dominion arc, done the Journey to the East thing in the main comic, but they didn't. So my thing is, what they could have done with this current story arc, this Mecha Sally Death Egg Mark II World War II story arc, is they could have separated it, if you will, they could have separated it between the main comic and the universe comic. So like, okay, you could do like maybe the first two parts in, like the first part in main, second part, basically, do it back and forth, and it would get people, like I mentioned towards the end of the first video, to buy or subscribe to Universe, so that way they could keep up on what's going on. And basically, it would reduce the time frame. In other words, you would probably have maybe a year or so less than what you're going on. As well as it would probably work around, it would also, in my opinion, work around the mandates, if you will, or the sudden urges, or whatever you want to call it, by the people that associate with the comic, that are basically sponsoring the comic, the people that made the character. So in other words, you could work around the whole Olympic tie-in and racing adaptions and racing game adaptions and stuff like that. You could work around them by doing this. It would have made things easier for Ian, Tracy, and anybody else working on the comic. It could have made it easier for them, because that way they wouldn't have to worry about what was going to happen next. They wouldn't have to worry. And again, it would allow them to work around what was happening. Yeah, it might put some story arcs that they had planned on hold, but you know what? It would have worked better. And it would have allowed, like I said, Ed, for the story arc probably to finish faster, so that you wouldn't have people with mixed reactions towards it or anything. I mean, you would still give the IWC, as I like to call them, the fans that love the long story arcs, you would have given them what they wanted. They just would have had to go to another comic or another issue of another comic to see it continue. That's what they would have had to do. So, to me, that would have made more sense and been more economical, and made things more easier for someone like, say, Ian Flynn. It would have made things more easier, like I say, more economical for Ian Flynn and for the fans. Now, I know some of you may say, well, Brian, that's kind of like not actually taking the easy way out or anything. Well, you'll probably think, well, Brian, that's not exactly, it wouldn't really work that way, right? And it's actually taking the easy way out. No, it would have been the same way. It just would have been expanded, and you would have given more and more exposure to your spin-off comic. It would have worked out that way, and I think those at Archie, and even Ian Flynn and Paul Kaminsky, they know that. They know that, and they know it would have worked around what they had to do. It would have worked around the mandates and the orders that Sega gave them. And in other words, it would allow them to do the crossover without having to worry about, hey, it's interrupting the main story arc. They would actually be able to work around it. But to me, that would have helped the comic. That would have made this story arc just as long, but on a shorter basis. Just like what they're doing in the crossover, they could have done here. But, you know, I'm just saying from what I could see. I mean, if they could do it with the crossover, if other comic book companies can do this, if they've done it in the past, then there's no doubt that they could do it. There's no doubt that they could do it there's no doubt they could do it or done it with this story arc of Mecha Sally, Death Egg Mark II, World War II, whatever you want to, World War Tour, World Tour II, I should say. No matter what you want to call it, they could have done it. But hey, that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think they could have done it that way? Do you think it would have made things easier for them? To me, I think it would have. It would have made it easier, more economical, and it would have given more exposure to the universe. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below, video response if you like. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with that? And I'll talk to you all later, but let me know what you guys think. Talk to you later.